like a state dinner. That's what participants are saying about the scene at the White House tonight. But the president was not honoring foreign dignitaries. The focus was on evangelical leaders. As we mentioned earlier, the president made some news there tonight saying he appreciates the work of Senator John McCain. But that's not all he had to say. Pastor of First Baptist Dallas, Dr. Robert Jeffress, the Fox News contributor, was there. He joins us tonight live in Washington. Good to have you on set with us tonight.
Good to be here in person, Shannon.
Okay, so tell us about this dinner. I understand the president talked about your support, evangelical support of him, and what he's tried to do in return.
Well, he did. And, you know, I guess the headline from the evening would be evangelicals remain enthusiastically supportive of President Trump. And, you know, the headlines that we've all seen recently, I knew they wouldn't affect my support of the president, but I did wonder how it might affect some others in the room. Well, the answer is there's no effect. I mean, this was a beautiful state dinner organized by the First Lady, but it almost turned into a campaign rally. I mean, leader after leader stood up and spontaneously started talking about why they supported President Trump. And Shannon, I know a lot of people are still perplexed. Why are Christians so supportive of Donald Trump? Well, it's really not that hard to figure out when you realize he is the most pro-life, pro-religious liberty, pro-conservative judiciary in history, and that includes either Bush or Ronald Reagan. I think that's why evangelicals remain committed to this president, and they're not going to turn away from him soon.
Yeah, I mean, August polling that we have just, you know, within days, it said, do you approve or disapprove of the job Donald Trump is doing as president? White evangelicals said this, approve 74%. 25% disapprove, don't know, 2%. That is a resounding yes from that particular group. But you do understand the questioning, the criticism from people who say this is not what you would ever do as a leader of your church. You would preach against much of what the president's done in his life. Is that a fair trade-off for you then on the judges, on the issue of abortion and those other things?
Well, first of all, Shannon, to be fair, we have to understand these are still allegations against the president. So I'm not going to judge the president on these things. But even if they were true, some of these allegations, I mean, obviously, we don't support extramarital affairs. We don't support hush money payments. But what we do support are these president's excellent policies. And I think most thinking people can absolutely differentiate between the two. And don't mistake what's going on here. Those who hate President Trump, those on the left, know that if they can dislodge his evangelical supporters from him, they have a shot at overtaking the White House. And so I think the left is trying to shame people like myself continuously for supporting this great president. It's not going to work. We're not going to turn away from him.
I want to read part of something on salon.com and give you a chance to respond. They said this, that there's a double standard where straight white men can do whatever they like and everyone else must face a stern crackdown on sin. It's long been baked into the religious rights ideology. It goes on from there.
Well, I think it's absolutely wrong. I preach about sin every Sunday, and I haven't changed my convictions at all. But, you know, it's interesting. The president tonight at the dinner, he quoted me. He said, you know, Pastor Jeffress often says Donald Trump isn't a perfect Christian, but he's a pretty good leader. And that's true. I've said that. The fact is, Shannon, none of us is perfect. The whole basis of the Christian message is we're all sinners in need of a Savior. And the good news is anyone who asks for forgiveness can receive it.
Well, the president said in the past that he hasn't asked for forgiveness. Have you had conversations with him to see where you think his heart is on these kinds of issues? You
know, I've known President Trump for now 3 years, and I consider him a great friend. We were together in the Oval Office this afternoon, but I made a deal with the president early on when we became friends and he wasn't president. I said, you know, when Mr. Trump at that time, I said, when people ask me about your faith, what should I say? He said, Robert, you can tell people my faith is very important to me, but it's also very personal with me. So I never go beyond that in talking about it.
Well, you make a good point that we are all in need of forgiveness at some point, and for me, every day. Pastor
Me
Jeffress, thank you for joining us. Good to see you tonight.
Thanks, Shannon.